JD Jones, let's expedition to Atlantis. It will require gathering experts from all fields of science and engineering in addition to men and women trained in armed combat. You damn right. And likely a decade to properly plan it. So I assume you're referring to the Richat Structure in Mauritania. If that's the case, I got a few things to say about it right now. And let me also say hi to my buddy Matt, who went with me to Egypt and in Peru, and because he wants to go there as well. And if I go there, I'm not going without him. So that reminds me, before I get into the Richat, because that's gonna be a tangent, let me show you guys something real quick here. So these are my friends. So the 8 of us here, Yarda, me, Mike, Matt, Ben, Tim, Tyler, and Ivan, So Ivan, you know. So 8 of us all met in Egypt, and now this is all of us in Peru at Lake Titicaca. Guys, this is why I'm telling you, like, if you're tempted to go on a tour, do it. Like, you're gonna make friends. Like, it's surreal to think we all were in the Great Pyramid together, and now we all went to Peru together. And like, these are friends I'll have forever. Good people from all over the world. And I don't know, guys, like, because I was just thinking about that when you mentioned Matt, because this is Matt who wants to go to the Richat. And he was saying the same thing, like, we need to plan this out. That's a big deal. Mauritania is dangerous. My buddy Josh Sigurdsson went there and he almost freaking died. He almost not starved to death, but he was starving because this is as third world as it gets. And they had to drive through a freaking minefield from these mines that had been out there for decades in the middle of nowhere. And they passed skeletons along the way from people who had blown up on the mines. Like, you have to take a certain path. Water is an issue. You can only carry so much. Reliable transportation's a thing. According to the United States State Department, kidnappings and ransoms are a real thing out there, and Americans are in jeopardy. That's not what Josh saw. Josh said he saw the most nicest, most giving, most welcoming people he's ever met in his life. And that's exactly what I saw when I was in Iraq on my deployment, that on the outskirts, the people in the middle of nowhere were the nicest, most welcoming people ever. And I think, because most of humanity is good, guys. But all of that said, being a veteran that's done almost a full year deployment, I can't go to a country like that without me being strapped. I need a piece. I need a rifle. I need an AK-47. And besides that, though, because that's just me, I'll never be able to live in that mindset of total vulnerability in a place where I don't feel unsafe. Like, let me give you an example. I do not go to the woods. Jimmy does not go to the woods without a gun. And by a gun, I mean, I have my freaking Glock and at least a shotgun and maybe my AR and maybe something else. Like, and I'm not even afraid of the animals. I'm more afraid of people, Anyway, but that aside, in Mauritania, they do not allow drones. They do not allow ground penetrating radar. And you want to hear something interesting about that? Because they don't want any, the reason is because they don't want anyone taking their gold. Because Mauritania is rich in gold. It's like the third most export, or one of the highest exports there. Think about that. So, I mean, Atlantis was said to be rich in gold. Mauritania has lots of gold. So let's talk about the Richat Structure. And real quick, before I do that, because I know it's going to be a tangent, let me just read off a couple of the super chats. Will RC, because I'm going to get on it. I just want to read these off. Thank you, Will. Love you, Samiran. Egyptian work exposing the truth. Thanks, brother. Nathan, what up? Lungfai Zhang? I didn't say that right. Forgive me. Hey, Jimmy, 1982 paper on how stones were softened using plant extract, making cement with plant extracts. Joseph, let me screenshot this. Thank you. That's totally going in a video. Just what I need. Because it's one thing to be like, make a video, say, I heard this and all that, but I need the paper. Jelks Cabanese. You just gave me 100 and you didn't say anything. Dude, this is surreal. Guys, you guys are generous. Oh my God. Thank you, Anthony DiStefano. Thanks, brother. Okay, so who wants to talk about the Richat Structure real quick? I got a few things to say because you saw my previous video on the topic of the declassified CIA documents on the Richat Structure with the Navy conducting secret missions to go study it. Nothing about that is related to Atlantis or lost ancient civilizations, but they did study it. It was classified for decades. It was declassified in the early 2000s, but nobody knew it without the Freedom of Information Act being in place and being a thing, as well as the online community to be able to expose that stuff. So how else would you know? But I find that really interesting. And let me just say, because I've seen like Randall Carlson make videos on this, and I respect Randall Carlson's opinion above most anybody else. His work on catastrophe, sacred geometry, everything, high respect, but he does not think that's the location at all. He's partial towards the Azores. And if you haven't, guys, Randall Carlson, you know him from Joe Rogan and Graham Hancock. He has a YouTube channel, guys. Go subscribe to his channel and listen to all of his work on discussing Atlantis. It's fascinating. And for me personally, I'm still partial towards the Richat. Now, he has certain reasons why he thinks it's not likely to be the case. He is open-minded enough to say when he was pressed on it that perhaps it could be, but he doesn't think it's the location. Let me be clear. And when I made that prior video, I was trying to be very respectful to him because he was respectful to me. He's never said anything about Jimmy's thoughts on it. He just talks about the Richat in Atlantis because he's a gentleman. He's a class act. So I want to pay the same thing forward to say that I'm not disagreeing with him. I'm just discussing the Richat because to me, there's so many uncanny similarities that I don't think we can just ignore this site. The ocean, the striations of water erosion has been proven, as confirmed by Randall Carlson. That is undoubtedly water erosion that stripped the bedrock across all of northern Africa. Guys, when and how did that freaking happen, and why is there salt on top of it? It's not 100% certainty that the salt has been there since Atlantis, or 12,000 years, let's say. Maybe it's older than that. All I know is that there's sand that has blown in that has the water ripples, just like seen at the Dry Falls area all across Washington and Montana. That's been proven to have been a result of the end of the last ice age with the catastrophic flooding and the melting of the ice caps. And it's the same huge, massive water ripples seen in both spots. So I'm like, how old are these water ripples that are made of sand or that have carved the bedrock and sand has come on top of them to fill them up? So it's like, I would argue that was done in the last 12,000 years. I don't think that's unreasonable to suggest. And the fact that there's sand on top of it, to me, is a strong indicator that that the ocean had flowed through it more recently than 50 plus million years ago, like they claim. Okay. So also, a lot of people want to debate about the sizes. That's like one of the biggest arguments is that people say it's too high above sea level. Well, I'm like, hold on. It's already, the crust moves up and down. So that's one thing. But, and especially if you want to believe that Atlantis could have sank, well, then you could believe that it could have risen too. I mean, like volcanic activity, North Africa has been covered with it. And it's not hard to suggest that the crust in certain parts of it have lifted over 12,000 years. I already gave the example on how a frickin' 1,200 or 1,500 foot, the volcano in Mexico, I forgot the name, but this is my most recent video, on how that sucker rose more than 1,000 feet or whatever it was in less than a year or whatever. I mean, forgive me on getting the proper measurements. Go watch the video. But I'm like, come on. But there's that. And then other people want to argue the measurements. They're like, well, the Richat's too big. Okay, well, Atlantis was said to be busy all day and all night. It was said to be bustling in trade, spoken from languages of all over. And many modern scholars suggest that that would imply that there was a populace of millions of people at the capital in that area, which is not unreasonable to suggest because it sounds like modern day New York, right? Like bustling with trade, busy all day, all night, numerous languages, a whole bunch of people. But if you look at the modernly described measurements of Atlantis, the capital itself, I'm like, I don't think that's big enough to hold millions of people, at least not without high density living like skyscrapers and the such. So all of that said, and knowing that it's a 12,000 plus year old story that was passed down by no less than 3 languages, the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Greek, and now let's say, not just English, but any modern language. I'll count those all in as one. But it's good. That's no less than 3, but it's going to be more than that because if the ancient Egyptians of just a couple thousand years ago were speaking one language, it is unbelievably likely that the people of Atlantis, whoever they were speaking an entirely different language. And different languages between then and the 9,000 or so or whatever years before that, but in between, I should say. So I don't know, guys. When we discuss lost in translation, that is 100% a real thing. Things get lost in translation, and I do not believe that a system of measurement could maintain precise continuity over a period of 12,000 years, 13,000 years, whatever. Nope, I don't think that for a second. It's possible, maybe. I don't know. I can admit I don't know. But I think that anyone completely ruling out the wrist shot, I think it's premature. I respect anyone that disagrees with it, and there is doubt. Guys, I'm not 100% certain on this thing. I know that there's doubt there, but I don't think people should just dismiss it just yet. There's too many uncanny similarities, like 3 rings of water, 2 of land. I think that we need to entertain what's possible here on Earth over that period of time. But let me read off some of these super chats. You guys are, oh my God, you guys are too nice. Dan Palladino, living vicariously through you, Jimmy. Cheers, brother. Thank you. That means it's like surreal. D. Smith, I'm a full believer. Oh, I'm sorry, you already said that. I'm scrolling back. Okay, good. I didn't miss these. Thank you, Misty. $50 from Misty, just saying thank you. Thank you. I owe you a beer. I appreciate and all right, I'm sorry. Murloc Confidential. I appreciate and marvel at your adventures and information sharing. That's very kind of you. Cam Das, thank you for the $10. Okay, Craig Tinsley. Do you think it's possible that ancient history has been whitewashed and there may be anti-Black racism in the ancient historical narrative? Love the info you do, bro. I have something to say on that. Let me take a sip of my, guys, I'm still on my first beer. Give me a second here. Because it's warm and flat. Okay, so let me read off a quote to you. Not read off, but let me just say it. To anyone that remembers John Anthony West, the legendary John Anthony West, when he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, he read off, it wasn't his own quote, but he read it, he said it. He's like, it was something to the effect of, not only did the Atlanteans exist, but they were Black. And he said that he was totally partial towards that. But guys, if I would argue that the ancient Egyptians were the most advanced and sophisticated of all the ancient civilizations. That's debatable. I'm seeing unreal stuff in India and other places, so I can't say that with absolute certainty. And some of the stuff I just saw in Peru was unbelievable. So maybe not. But Egypt's in Africa. And now looking at everything that happened in the Sahara Desert, guys, I think that whether we humans originated in Africa or not is debated now. That used to be the consensus. Now there's different things either way. I don't know the answers. But to be honest with you, I'm one of those people that thinks that, I know this is a touchy subject, but yeah, I think that, I can't say African American, I'll just say Black, right? That's the word, because we're not talking about African American. We're talking about people of the skin color with melanin coming from Africa. I do believe that there is a lot more to that history throughout that continent. And I think there's a whole bunch of people in modern times that either don't think so or don't want to believe or whatever, or maybe the evidence is since gone or whatever. I think there's something to be said for that. I don't give a shit about color. You know, who cares? Either you're an asshole or you're nice, right? Either you're a dumbass or you have something fun to chat about, right? Either you're kind or you're a prick. Like, I don't know. I just think that everyone agrees on the same thing. I feel like the whole media is trying to push racism more than ever just to divide people. Does it exist? Sure. Hell yeah, there's some real stupid people out there. But like, that's the common denominator with anyone that I ever known that was racist. They're like totally dumb. They're so close-minded. They don't do anything. They don't travel. They go to the same restaurant and order the same plate every single time. You know what I'm talking about? Like, it's so stupid. And I think that, I don't know, I don't want to get preachy, get me off this soapbox right now, but I'm like, I don't know. I think that everyone I talk to, it always says the same thing. It's like 99, well, never mind. I can't say that. Vast majority of people out there are not racist at all, and they just want to do good. And everyone I talk to seems to say the same thing. Every once in a while you come across some bigot, but like, who cares? Don't talk to them. Don't give them attention or whatever. I don't know. I'll just shut up on that now. But that all being said, yeah, it's a thing. Like, I think some people don't want to believe the capabilities of certain races out there. I don't know. I'll just shut up. Okay. Tyler Scott said everything still sounds good. Good. The audio is good. Thank you. Hold on here. I don't want to skip anyone. Commandos. All right. Brian the Broken, $50, dude. Thank you. Aliens. Oh yeah, ancient sites. Oh yeah, I think that we have come from ancient civilizations to survive the cataclysm. Right there with you, brother. Thank you for that super chat. Theo J, keep up the incredible work, brother. Thank you. BP, there's a video called The Golden Sun that is loosely based on our world, names of our ancient sites and cultures that are very similar. Lemuria is one. So that's a whole other topic, guys. That makes me wonder, is like Lemuria, Atlantis? Are they two different things described in two different places? Both. All I know is that if you're referring to what's supposed to be under the Pacific Ocean, it would explain certain things at Machu Picchu, or excuse me, I should say certain things at Peru, as in found at Easter Island. That's what I was looking for. Because Easter Island's like 2,400 miles off the coast of Chile. And some of the stonework is absolutely identical to a certain site or two in Peru. The connection's there. Academics say it doesn't exist. It's not possible for Easter Island and Peru to have had a connection. That's the consensus. However, not all academics agree on that. So that's the good thing, is that some people are open-minded, and it's clear as day. So when I think of Easter Island, I think of Lemuria if you're talking about like a sunken civilization in the Pacific that was alleged to have existed. I'm with you. Okay. Sebastian. Oh, Sebastian. Okay, hold on. A donation in memory of the Machu Picchu cow. Great travel. Hold on. Sebastian is like one of my best buddies I made on this trip. Let me show the cow here. Hold on, Sebastian. Sebastian was the best photo taker. So if you guys are looking, Sebastian Lundberg, I forgot, you told me how to say it, but he's from Sweden, so it's difficult for me to say. He took the best photos of me at these sites. Literally the best photos. He took this one of me with the alpaca, which, look at that sucker. Oh, yeah. And then he also took this one of me with the cow, and that's just the one you're seeing. I have one with almost lips on, but didn't want to put it on the internet just yet. Dude, Sebastian, I miss you already. I hope that 777 KLM flight went good back home, brother. We'll see, this is an example of someone that I'm going to stay in touch with forever. Guys, this is, I'm telling you, you go on these sites, like or these trips, these tours, you're going to make friends. It's a good time. And like, now it's surreal. I'm like I'm in my kitchen with this crazy setup of me having this TV that I set up behind me, and now I'm online talking to Sebastian. Oh, we'll have to talk over the phone soon, brother. Kyra, please do more live streams. We miss you. Right on. Adam Davis, also curious on your thoughts on the origins of the sea peoples. Okay, man. That literally ties precisely into what I was sharing a little bit earlier, involving the video I want to make on where the survivors of Atlantis went. So stay tuned on that. Because, well, I'll just tell you, I think that the so-called sea people, that's what they're describing. That the people came from the sea. That's the best way to explain it, I would say. Or at least I'm going to argue, but there's some other details that I came across while doing some other studies that put this way, there's some things out there that I never heard of before that I think are unbelievably compelling similarities on some different cultures that is worthy of some attention. Let's see here. Hold on. Oh my God, I've just realized that I've had the whole chat frozen. Can you guys, oh my God. Hold on here. Hold on. You guys all still got me? North Africa was, all right, let's see here. Josh Randall says, I owe you a 12er at the wrist shot. What's a 12er? I don't know what that means. Oh, like a 12 pack? Sure.